Okay, in this one, we're going to be talking about amenities. Amenities are the little things that you can provide within your unit or in the exterior to add to your experience or to add to the overall value of the B&B. These are things like paper towels, cooking utensils, Netflix and Hulu accounts, soap, shampoos, toothpaste, disposable razors. Do you have a pool? Do you have free parking, alarm clocks, essential oil diffusers? Anything like that could be an amenity, and there are tons of amenity options. This is why we always say there's a spectrum to short-term rentals. You can provide none of the essentials or provide so many that people are amazed at how far you went to provide value for them. This is often the difference between operating at the 50th, the 75th, and the 90th percentile. The people who not only have the best amenities, but have the ones that the guests didn't even realize that they might need are the hosts who really excel. And in order to do that, it's just how much energy you're going to put into knowing your audience, knowing who's coming, and being able to anticipate what they may need. The family vacationers with a newborn may need baby bottles, something like that. If they forget that at home and they realize that you have it at your Airbnb, that's going to go so far for them. With amenities, the typical rule of thumb is the longer the guest is staying, the less you need to be concerned about the amenities. If your guest is going to be there for 3 months, they're going to be buying a lot of their own stuff regardless, and they're going to run out of the stuff that you provide anyway, so they're going to be restocking anyway. Most hosts have the mindset that the longer they stay, the more of an annual tenant they are and not a vacationer or a commuter, so they're not expecting more. Although that may be true, it doesn't mean that you should cut any corners. To me, that is an opportunity to over-deliver. Have you ever heard of over-delivering? A largely forgotten concept in the early 2020s. My recommendation is to pretend you are staying in the property. Use everything. Pretend you slept there. Pretend you need to shower and get ready. Pretend you want to relax or cook. See what you naturally think you would want, and then make sure you have it at your B&B. If you thought it would be nice to have that there, then others are going to think that same thing too. So put it there. Tony Robbins says the difference between being good and being great is your standards. And your standards are doing what you should do. If you have high standards, it means all the things that you should do, you do. So we got to have high standards here, and all the things that we think we should do, we got to make sure we actually do and implement. There are some that I definitely recommend and others that are not as important. Although individually these things can be very cheap, they can rack up quite a bill, especially if you buy in bulk to save money like I do. So make sure you add these amenities to your budget and at least get an idea of how much you will set aside for these. It should always be your goal to provide as much as you can to your guests, but you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're short or tight on money. Nothing builds your business like reviews, nothing builds reviews like an experience, and nothing builds an experience like feeling you are being catered to. And that's basically what amenities do. So make sure you get as much amenities as you can within your budget. I always have a lot of amenities. You want to make enough income in this business to afford to be able to take care of your guests the way they should be. And over time, it will pay you 10x. This is a major part of what has allowed me to become a premier host on Airbnb or VRBO. And in the next 9 days, I should be a super host on Airbnb. So by the time you're hearing this, I'll be a super host on Airbnb, which will be coming real soon. And I'm super excited about that. So phenomenal reviews of all the amenities anyone could ever think of. And of course, the guest's favorite amenity is always the bottle of wine and chocolates I leave for them with a handwritten note. I don't personally handwrite this note. I'll either reuse a note or have my cleaner or somebody write a new note. I'm not going there every time to write a new note for these people, but leaving them something like a handwritten note, a bottle of wine, a bottle of champagne, a few chocolates, maybe, cater to your audience. Like I said, know who your audience is. So I do a lot of vacationers. For vacationers, I usually provide chocolate, something like that, a bottle of wine. There's usually parents that want to drink, and they're super happy, and the handwritten note goes a long way. Another amenity that I always have is a guidebook. Make sure you're putting a guidebook in there. Put all of the questions that they could have in there, update it with the frequently asked questions, the Wi-Fi, the check-in, the checkout, anything that basically take everything from your listing and put it into a PowerPoint and put it in a guidebook. That's what we do, and it works out great, and we get way less questions and way less communication with guests because they have the answers there for this stuff. So that's basically all for amenities. You can check out the checklists and see what we have there, and also when you're modeling from other B&Bs, make sure that you're looking at what amenities they offer too. The same thing I said, if it's working for other people, it's going to work for you as well. So make sure that you see what's working out there already and make sure you have them. I noticed that in a lot of areas, specifically in Florida, if you don't have a pool, you're really cutting yourself short. There's just so much demand, and there's so much supply. There's so many houses there with pools. Why would someone come and book one without a pool? Or you're going to have to charge less because no one's going to pay the same amount if yours doesn't have a pool. So something like that is something I noticed just from looking at these other B&Bs. So figure out what's working out there. Take a look at the amenities lists, determine who your guest is and what amenities you want to provide to them, and provide as many as you can within your budget. When I first started, the first thing I did was forget about a lot of my amenities, and I went to Costco and spent $1,000 on frickin', I got 6 months worth, but paper towels, plastic forks, all this different type of stuff, air fresheners. It just wasn't in my budget, and I wasn't expecting it, and it threw me off. So I want to make sure that you're budgeting for it and you're expecting that cost. Just go on Costco.com, go on Amazon.com, put some bulk ordered items in your cart from the amenities list. And that's really as simple as it can be. So you can really understand what this is going to cost you when you're getting into it. I'll see you guys on the next lesson where we're going to be going over decorating, and I'll see you there.